I'm Adam.
I'm Dan.
And we are here to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
What a homecoming it was, I will tell you.
It was, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It was. Like, going into it, I was excited for it, but I had my doubts. I wasn't completely sure if this was going to blow me away like everyone was expecting it to. And the short answer for that is no. It didn't blow me away, but the other side of that, it's still a very good movie.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, it wasn't some eye-opening, like, amazing experience, like it's my new favorite or anything like that, but it's a very solid movie, it's a very fun movie, and it does a lot of things right, and the things it does right far outweigh the things it does wrong.
The biggest thing I could say, the one thing they did right, is they got Spider-Man right, and that's the most important part.
Well, they got Spider-Man and Peter Parker
right. Peter Parker
But yeah, no, Tom Holland did a great job, and, especially because he is actually that young in real life is the other thing. It's like,
well, he's 19, yes.
Well, so he's not really 15, but he's still a teenager.
Yeah.
He is the youngest person to play Spider-Man, and, even though 19 is legally an adult, like, it's still very young, especially for an actor, and all sorts of things. Like, so he did a great job, and, like, someone that young being that talented and able to just, like, from Civil War, just pick it up and run with it without any problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive, and I hope that he stays in the role, and I hope that we see more from him.
Oh, yeah. Because that's the other great part about the movie, and that is Michael Keaton's performance as a Vulture.
Like, Tom Holland does a great job, and I hope to see more from him. Michael Keaton does an amazing job.
He does a fucking fantastic job in this movie.
Like I remember just telling him in the car when we were driving home, just like, so if, like, I am 100% certain, as great of a job as Tom Holland does, and he does do a great job of when he's scared, looking like he's scared, and, you feel for him. You're there with him. But there's the scene where he's being threatened in the car by Michael Keaton's character, and I am 100% certain he didn't have to act.
Yeah.
Because if Michael Keaton turns around in his car with a gun and threatens to kill you and your family and everyone you love, you just know that's it. Like it's over. Your life's going to end.
To me,
it's done.
To me, he doesn't need the gun.
No, he really did. And I mean, like, we saw him grab it, but they didn't even focus on the gun. It was all just his face.
It was all just his face. And, like, that was one of the best parts of the entire, best little exchanges, at least, in the movie, is that part where Michael Keaton is threatening Spider-Man about hurting him and his family and everything. And it's so great to see Michael Keaton in a role where he could just chew the scenery around himself, because he is amazing in that role. But, like, with Marissa Tomei, like, I don't mind that she's playing Aunt May.
No.
Now, granted, I don't particularly like the Aunt May in the Raimi movies. She looks the part, but she's just a terrible actress. Granted, she doesn't have much to say in those movies, though, so it doesn't harm the movies that much. But, like, some of those scenes that she has, it's very painful to watch her act. And then in The Amazing Spider-Man, they had Sally Field play Aunt May. And Sally Field made, in my opinion, a perfect Aunt May. She was really good in those movies. And she looked the part. She acted the part. She seemed appropriate, And then in this movie, now it's Marissa Tomei. And she does a great job. She's a fantastic actress. There's just not enough of her in it.
Right.
She's just not in this movie all that much.
Yeah, because that is the one thing where, like, because of how important Aunt May is to the Spider-Man mythos, like, she is the one thing in his life that he can rely on.
Yeah, like, and the thing is like, this movie doesn't have, like, the Amazing Spider-Man movies have those moments of Peter with Aunt May. And so do even the Raimi movies. The Raimi movies had those moments with Peter with Aunt May, Peter looking to Aunt May for guidance or advice or just venting out to her or just someone to talk to. They have those moments so you can get that kind of connection. And while I like Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, and I think she does a great job, there's no scene like that in this movie.
Yeah, no.
There's no scene of Peter having a heart-to-heart with Aunt May about anything.
Yeah.
She's mostly just there. She mostly shows up and is like, hi, bye.
Yeah.
That's it. It almost seems like there's no justification for her to be there. And then when there's no justification for her to be there in the movie, then there's no justification for you to cast a great actress like Marissa Tomei to play her.
Yeah.
So, while it's a positive, to me it's also a little bit of a negative for the movie. Now, Robert Downey Jr., who I was afraid was going to have too much involved in this movie, is in it perfectly enough.
Yeah.
He shows up when he has to. He says some funny stuff because it's Robert Downey Jr. He's charismatic. He's charming. He's really good, and he's fine. It's not like I went into this thinking he was going to give a bad performance. No, yeah. He's played this role how many times?
He was born to play this role.
And he shows up, and for the little bit he shows up in the movie, every scene he's in makes sense for him to be there. He's the one who more or less has the heart-to-heart talks with Peter.
Yeah. And
that was like the other thing. I was like, you could have taken a few of those, and I understand. You couldn't give the subject to Aunt May almost, but you could have worked something. You could have gave a little more screen time to Aunt May and maybe cut one or two of these of Tony Stark out. Although it still doesn't matter.
The very few flaws in the movie do come down to the writing, though, which is the big contrast.
Well, no. First, before we get into the flaws, we'll talk about one more good thing.
Okay, go ahead.
And that is, and this is, we don't have to go into depth about it.
Right.
But another highlight of the movie is the action sequences. The action sequences, for the most part, are fantastic, are very creative, and are very good, except for the times when they're at night.
Yeah.
When it's at night, it feels like the shaky cam stuff. It's a little too dark. I don't know if it was our theater or what, but it was dark to the point where it's like, especially in the climax when he's on the plane with the vulture, he's after him. Mm-hmm. Is times in that movie where it's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's getting the upper hand. I don't know who's winning here.
Very much in the same boat there. And what gets me the most is that usually Marvel is better about that, because it's not the first time they've had action scenes at night or in darkness, but usually they're good enough about lighting it and, just, basically implying that it's dark out, but still letting you see everything and all of that. But this movie, they didn't do a very good job of that. And there were certain fight scenes that were too frenetic, and I don't know if it was shaky cam or just bad cinematography, but you couldn't tell who was hitting who. You couldn't tell what was going on. Really, it's like you said, you didn't know who had the upper hand.
But other than that, the part where he saves the people in the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
He fights the bad guys in the bank and stuff like that. All that stuff, great.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. It's very entertaining. Very doesn't drag on too long. It's not too short.
Again, not huge problems, but there were problems. Was with some of the writing. I will say that. Flash Thompson felt kind of forced.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know if it was the actor or the writing, to be fair, because Flash Thompson as a character is kind of just stereotypical bully.
Yeah.
But I wasn't buying it. There was it wasn't even that he didn't seem smug; it just felt like fake smug.
It felt like fake smug, and then the other thing was I know who Flash is supposed to be. Flash is supposed to be a bully. He's supposed to be a jock. I understand they kind of went a little bit of a different route with this thing, but the idea is that there's parts where he's essentially bullying Peter, making fun of him, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, even if Peter did not have superpowers, there is no real reason why Peter just wouldn't go up to this guy and just smack him in the fucking face.
See, that's the other thing.
It's not like he's bigger than Peter.
Yeah, that's
he's
the thing.
About the same size,
of,
if not smaller than Peter.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
We all know because of the trailer is that his one friend, Ned, his name? His one friend Ned figures out who he is, and he wants to help him in a way, okay? But Ned adds nothing to the movie.
He doesn't.
He really doesn't.
I will say that of all the kids, he was the least of the problems, though.
Well, no, I of all the kids, he is the least of the problems. He's not that bad, but he's just not that interesting. He provides a little bit of comic relief sort of thing. But this is a movie where you got Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the fucking comic relief.
That's true, yeah.
You don't need a buddy for Spider-Man to hang around with him and be the comic relief. It's like, you got Spider-Man. He's the comic relief. Yeah. He is the funny guy. You don't need this other guy there who's supposed to be funny. And while he does provide some good moments, like the part where he helps Spider-Man out and all that shit, he does provide some good moments, but it just feels like an unnecessary character in the listing, at least. Especially. Yeah. And then we get to my biggest problem with the movie, and that is the quote-unquote love interest that Peter Parker has. For spoilers, anyone who isn't seen this, is a girl named Liz, who obviously is not Mary Jane, is not Gwen Stacy, which that's fine. I'm okay with that. They don't want to put those characters in there. They want to bring us a new character. But the problem is that his relationship with her makes absolutely no fucking sense. It makes no sense in this movie.
Because, I shouldn't even say, it doesn't entirely make sense. We find out, one of the first scenes that we see Peter Parker, and Ned, for that matter, in the movie, is they see her, and they're and they're mesmerized because they both think she's hot, and and Peter has a crush on her, and all that. And, so we find out pretty quickly that he has feelings for her.
Yeah.
And they're in some of the same clubs, and they, have certain interests that are the same. So we get that part. We get it from his end.
Yeah.
The problem is that we find out later in the movie that she does, in fact, reciprocate those feelings.
Yeah.
And that she was, she wanted him to ask her out, and, they were both nervous and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. Stereotypical stuff, which in this case is fine. You expect that sort of thing. But there was no indication that she liked him before that.
Not only that, but there is they share no screen time together.
They really don't, yeah.
None. A couple of scenes where they don't say much to each other.
No.
It's mostly just him kind of, basically oogling over her, essentially. Mm-hmm. And maybe she says one or two things. In fact, she actually kind of treats him like a jerk. Because she's pissed at him for quitting the clubs and not having time and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She treats him like he's a jackass, essentially. But yet he's madly in love with her, I guess. And then when he asks her if she's got a date for homecoming, she says no. And then it reveals
she was waiting for him to ask.
I was waiting for you to ask, I do like you and all this stuff. And I'm just there going when did all this happen?
Yeah.
Because none of this makes any sense. Because literally she says maybe 4 whole sentences to him throughout that whole movie.
The only time
that point, the last flaw I want to get to is the character of Michelle,
which is a very minor flaw because you don't find it out until the end.
It's a minor flaw, but here's the thing: the Michelle character as a character is not a terrible character. Mm-hmm. She's okay. She's
even got some actually legit entertaining parts.
Yeah, she's got some really funny lines. She's an okay character. There's a couple of things I didn't like she's talking about essentially she made it feel like she had no friends. But she doesn't have friends.
But she's always hanging out with all of them.
Yeah, but yet she's always with all of them, and she's also in the clubs, and she's also invited to the party that Peter and Ned were not invited to.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how she's I don't have friends sort of thing. Whatever, that's fine. She's an okay character. She's not that much of a flaw, but it's until you get to that end when it's revealed. When they start talking
to her,
the coach
calls her Michelle,
and she goes, "My friends call me MJ." And then we are sitting there in the theater, and I don't know if you heard me, but as soon as she said, "My friends call me MJ," and all the theater was you could hear and just me, "Fuck you."
Okay, I was sitting right next to you. I legit didn't hear that, but I'm not that happy with it either. Now, the internet being what it is, mm-hmm. and unfortunately culture being what it is, there's a lot of people who are upset about this. And parts of it were revealed beforehand. We knew that that actress was cast. It wasn't 100% official that she was going to be MJ.
Yeah.
But most people just assumed it was. Mm-hmm. And it was well known that I mean, Flash Thompson wasn't known, but again, he's not a white guy like he is in the comics and all of that stuff. Now, unfortunately, there are people upset that they're these formerly white characters not white anymore, and all of that thing. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter at all. What they look like doesn't matter. As much as I love redheads, mm-hmm. Mary Jane doesn't have to be a redhead. Her name should be Mary Jane, though. And not Michelle something.
No, exactly. That's my biggest thing. I don't care that you change the character. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit about that.
No.
I don't give a shit about what her race is. She could just be a lesbian also for all I care. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's the idea. It's the idea that you set up this character and then you reveal, okay, this is going to be our Mary Jane, our MJ. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going you didn't have to do this. She could be her own fucking original character and it would be fine.
Yeah. She could have been an original character.
The only reason you're essentially saying her, having her say, "Oh, my friends call me MJ, mm-hmm. and you're making her MJ is because you're thinking, this is what fans want. And it's no, this isn't what we want. No. We are perfectly accepting this character mm-hmm. until that last second when you said her name was MJ, and now we're all turning on her.
Because, my big thing of it is, I didn't even care that they want to reveal that she's MJ. Why they waited till the end of the movie is stupid, but mm-hmm. that's fine. But they changed her name from Mary to Michelle for zero reason.
For zero reason, yeah.
Because again, it doesn't matter what she looks like, what her background is. There's no reason her name can't be Mary.
There's no reason.
There's none. None at all.
The only reason they did it is so that way they could do that at the end. so that way they could essentially.
So they could fake you out.
Yeah, and I looked at you and I said, all that reminded me of was the Dark Knight
Yeah.
Rises scene when fucking
Yeah.
Joe
You should
Segura
use your
11,
real
yeah,
name.
Joe Segura 11 goes to pick up the shit and he says under this name and they're like, it's not under that, and he goes, we use my real name, and he gives her, I think he gives her his driver's license. She looks at it, she turns around and goes, you should use your real name. I like that name. And as he's
Robin.
walking away, she goes, Robin. And I just remember it was that moment because it's the exact same reaction I had in the theater when I saw that movie. I just went, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
fuck this. Like,
Yeah,
what? Like, that's... What?
Like,
Alright, so I guess we'll just go into our overall thoughts and our scores.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
So, even though the second half, or at least the end of our little review there, was us kind of nitpicking and ranting, like, as I started off the review with, in no way do the negatives outweigh the positives. In no way does it really even detract from my enjoyment of the movie in any significant way. This was a very fun movie. There was good action when you could see it. And, you know, there were enough good performances that, like, the few mediocre, not even bad, just mediocre performances don't even bother you. And, you know, there's good little Easter eggs. There's good stuff that builds a world that you can look forward to. And I want to see more. I hope Tom Holland not only continues in Spider-Man, I hope he finds success in other movies, like a lot of the other actors they've hired have. And I hope that we see more from Michael Keaton. Like, because for something one of our other friends pointed out, this is actually one of the few times in the Marvel movies that they have not killed the main villain. Spoiler alert. Not that it matters. But, like, I mean, you know, he's still defeated at the end. But they don't kill him. So potentially we could see more. It's unlikely he will be the main villain again. But he could come back, and I'm all for that. But again, even outside those movies, I hope that there's more Michael Keaton to come, because this was so good, and I want more. So, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Like, you know, the few bad parts do bring it down from being perfect, but I will easily put it on par with what I gave Wonder Woman, which was 8 out of 10, because it was fun, it was colorful, it was the sort of movie that I want to see more of. So,
the thing I'll say about it is that I went into this movie hoping I was going to get blown away, and I technically I wasn't. To me, it felt like just another Marvel movie, which isn't saying a bad thing about the movie. Because Marvel, even though I do like Marvel, I think a lot of MCU fanboys really, really hype Marvel up. Like, they basically make it seem like everything they do is perfect and great, and, like, I never thought that. Marvel has problems.
yeah.
Not all their movies are great, in my opinion. And for me, it's like, I didn't go in there, I didn't come out getting, to me, a Guardians. I didn't get an Avengers. I didn't get a Civil War. I, to me, just got another Marvel movie. A good Marvel movie, but just another Marvel movie. The action scenes were great. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Same thing with you. I hope he continues to play the role. I hope he finds success in other movies. I love Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I want to see more of Michael Keaton. I'm glad they kept him alive, so that way maybe we could see him in more sequels, maybe. Love interest didn't make any sense. Ned, although not a bad character, just was not needed. I wish they would have gave more attention to Aunt May. I liked Tony Stark in the movie. I thought he was good enough. Don't like that they made Michelle MJ, because it doesn't make any sense. Overall, though, still highly enjoyed the movie. Still give it a recommendation. I'm on the same thing as you. I liked it as much as I like Wonder Woman, but if you recall, I did not give Wonder Woman an 8 like you. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming a 7. And because I think it's a good movie, I do recommend it. I just can't give it an 8 because it just didn't do enough for me to get that 8. That's going to do it for us for this review. He gives it an 8. I give it a 7. We both highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, you're a fan of Marvel, you're obviously going to love this movie. Definitely check it out. That's going to do it for us right now. Maybe we'll be back with Planet of the Apes or War of the Planet of the Apes, maybe. Not really sure. I'm not really sure what else is coming out in the next few weeks that we might go see.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the only one that I know that I kind of have interest in. So maybe we'll be back with War of the Planet of the Apes. If not, we'll be back with something else. So, oh well, we'll be back with our best of the year so far, which we still gotta do. We keep meaning to do that. So we'll be back definitely with that. But for an actual movie review, maybe War of the Planet of the Apes, maybe something else. I don't know. We'll see. So if you like this video, please thumbs up it. Please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more movie reviews, and please leave a comment and let us know what you thought of Spider-Man Homecoming. Maybe, I don't think anyone's going to think we were too generous with it. I'm pretty sure the consensus is going to be that we were probably bastards and we should have gave it a 10 or a 9.
Yeah, something. But yeah.
But please leave a comment either way. Let us know what you liked about it. You know, let us know what you thought we got wrong. So, it's going to do it for us for now. See you later.